Before this video ends, I'm going to show you something that might completely change the way your brain works. And no, this isn't motivation, because if you've been struggling to focus, you already know motivation doesn't last. You sit down to do something important, and within seconds, your mind drifts. You check your phone, open another tab, start something else, and then you tell yourself, I'll focus later. But later never comes, and slowly you start believing something is wrong with you. Maybe you're lazy, maybe you lack discipline. But what if I told you that's not the real problem? What if the real reason you can't focus is something you've never been told before? Stay with me, because once you understand this, you won't see your habits the same way again. Let's start with something uncomfortable. Your brain is not designed for focus anymore. Every time you scroll, watch short videos, switch between apps, your brain gets a small hit of dopamine. It feels good, instant, effortless. But here's the problem. The more dopamine you get from easy things, the harder it becomes to focus on hard things, because your brain starts comparing. Why would it choose effort when it can get pleasure instantly? So when you try to study, work, or focus on something meaningful, your brain resists. Not because you're weak, but because it's been trained to avoid effort. And this is where most people get stuck. They try harder, force themselves, but they don't realize they're fighting their own brain, and that never works. If you're still watching, you're already ahead of most people. You think you're multitasking, watching something, replying to messages, doing work at the same time. Feels productive, right? But here's the truth. Your brain cannot multitask. It can only switch very fast. And every time it switches, it loses focus, it loses energy, it loses depth. So by the end of the day, you feel exhausted, but not because you worked hard, because your brain kept jumping from one thing to another and never stayed long enough to actually focus. So here's a question. When was the last time you did one thing without checking your phone? Think about that. And stay till the end, because what I'm about to share next might explain everything. Focus is not something you have, it's something you train. And right now, most people are training it in the wrong direction. Every time you skip a video, switch apps, get bored quickly, you're teaching your brain short attention is normal. So your brain adapts. It becomes restless, impatient, easily distracted. And then when you try to focus, it feels impossible because your brain is no longer used to it. This isn't your fault, it's your environment. But if you don't fix it, it only gets worse. If this is making sense, hit subscribe, because this might be the most important thing you learn today. Let's talk about procrastination. You think you delay work because you're lazy, but that's not true. You procrastinate because your brain is trying to protect you. From what? Discomfort. Hard tasks require effort, focus, energy, and your brain sees that as a threat. So it pushes you toward easy things, scrolling, watching, avoiding, not because it wants to ruin your life, but because it wants to keep you comfortable. Short-term comfort, long-term damage. And the worst part is, you don't even notice it happening. Here's something no one tells you. The more stimulated your brain is, the less satisfied you feel, because normal things start feeling boring. Studying feels slow, work feels heavy, even conversations feel dull. Why? Because your brain is used to high-speed input, fast content, bright visuals, constant novelty. Real life can't compete with that. So your brain loses interest and you lose focus. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you next is where everything changes. Now here's the part most people get wrong. They try to increase focus, but that's not the solution. The real solution is reduce distraction, because focus is your natural state. It only disappears when your brain is overloaded. So instead of forcing focus, start removing what's breaking it. Step 1. Reduce instant dopamine. Less scrolling, less switching. Even 1 hour without your phone can reset your brain. Step 2. Train your attention slowly. Start with 10 minutes, then increase. Don't jump to 1 hour. Your brain needs time. Step 3. Make boredom normal again, because boredom is where focus begins. Most people run away from it, but that's the secret. Here's the truth. You don't lack focus. You've just trained your brain to avoid it. And once you understand that, everything changes. You stop blaming yourself, you stop forcing things, and you start fixing the real problem. Your environment, your habits, your attention. Remember what I said at the beginning, that I'll show you something that can change how your brain works? Here it is. Your focus was never broken. It was just stolen by things designed to take your attention. And now that you know this, you have a choice. Keep feeding the distraction or take your focus back. So tell me honestly, How many hours a day do you lose to distraction? Comment your number. And if you made it till the end, you're already more focused than most people.